The study found that monthly active users, or MAU, was a really strong indicator of a token's value.
Which makes sense, right? I mean, the more people using a platform, the more valuable it becomes.
Exactly. It's like comparing a bustling city to a ghost town. The city with more people going about their lives is usually seen as more, well, more desirable, more valuable. The study actually found a perfect correlation between an AI token's MAU and how many times its website was visited. That's a pretty clear sign of interest, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So if you're checking out an AI token, a lot of buzz and activity is definitely a good sign. Now, what about the price of these tokens? Does a lower price automatically mean higher value?
That's not always the case. Sometimes the higher priced tokens actually had higher valuations.
Wait, really? That seems kind of counterintuitive. Why would that be?
It's interesting, right? It's like, well, think about it like this. A higher price often creates a perception of exclusivity. Like buying a fancy car. It's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about what that car says about you.
I see. It's about perceived value. So a higher price tag might actually signal that the technology is more advanced, even if it doesn't have a ton of users yet.
Exactly. And in a field like AI, which is changing so rapidly, that perception, that feeling can be super influential. People are willing to pay a premium for something they believe is cutting edge, the next big thing. And it's not just about individual perception. There's also the network effect to think about.
Network effect? What's that again?
Basically, it means that something becomes more valuable as more people use it. Think of social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
A platform with millions of users is inherently more valuable than one with just a handful.
Right. More connections, more shared experiences, all that.
Exactly. Now, imagine that same idea, but with AI. A bigger user base equals more data, which in tech, a higher price can actually be more appealing to certain users.
Like those early adopters, right? The ones who want to be on the cutting edge and are willing to pay a premium for it.
Exactly. They see the value in being part of something new, something potentially revolutionary, even if it costs a bit more upfront.
Kind of like the early days of any new tech, really. The ones who take the risk are often the ones who reap the rewards later on.
Yeah, and speaking of risks, it's important to remember that this research, while super interesting, it does have some limitations.
Oh, like what?
Well, for one thing, they relied on estimated valuations for some of the tokens. Because, in such a new and constantly evolving field like this, concrete market data just isn't always there. It's like, imagine trying to put a price on a super rare, one-of-a-kind antique. You can try to guess its worth, but without any comparable items ever being sold, it's still a guessing game.
That makes sense. And it feels like we're seeing some of that same energy with AI tokens now.
100%. People are drawn to the potential of AI. It's like this whole new frontier, and these tokens, they offer a way to be a part of that,
Yeah.
to own a piece of the future.
Okay, so big picture time. What does all this mean for our listener who's maybe thinking about, I don't know, investing in AI tokens or just wants to understand this whole world a bit better?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that the AI token market is like, a fast-moving river. It's
Yeah.
constantly changing. What we think we know about valuation today, it could be totally different tomorrow.
So for someone just starting to explore this world, what's the best approach?
Don't be afraid to dive in, but definitely do your research. Keep in mind those key things we've been talking about. How many people are actually using the platform? What's the pricing strategy? Is there a chance for that network effect to really kick in?